Hey everyone, very excited with this chat today with LogicMonitor around everything AI ops. Ranjan, how are you?
I'm doing great, Evan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Really intrigued by the work you're doing at LogicMonitor and so many questions. But before that, perhaps introduce yourself to the folks viewing and share a little bit about your professional journey to your current role at LogicMonitor.
Sure. I've been in the enterprise IT business for about 25 years, Evan. I started my journey here in the Silicon Valley, working for 3Com and then Cisco.
Mm,
What I really love about my time as a professional is I'm really passionate about bringing innovations to our customers, to the products that are easy to adopt. At Cisco, I brought to market some really market-defining products like unified wired and wireless that really
mm.
changed the game for IT. Security integrated into switching and routing, and just this controller-based wireless architecture that really simplified the wireless deployments at an enterprise scale. And then just prior to joining LogicMonitor, I was at Gigamon and brought to market an AI-based cybersecurity solution.
Wow, that's quite a journey onwards and upwards. And your current role at Logic Monitor is really intriguing. Maybe give us a snapshot on your professional mission and the challenges, problems you're solving.
Yeah, and at LogicMonitor, I've been here for 3.5 years, helped build our portfolio for hybrid observability. And moving forward, my focus is really around AI initiatives at LogicMonitor. There are primarily two big initiatives me and my team are working on. One is related to AI ops. We launched a product last year called Dexra, and the second initiative is about generative AI. And last year we launched a product called LM Copilot, and really excited about both of these opportunities. And the logic monitor, I think, play here is more about uh, taking our domain expertise. So logic monitor has been in the hybrid infrastructure monitoring and observability business for 10 plus years. And we have built huge amount of domain expertise within the company through our engineers, sales engineers, professional services engineers, tech support, and our own internal staff. And how can we package all this domain expertise into AI systems so it really automates the decision making and troubleshooting and root cause analysis for our customers when they're in a bind, when the services are down, they're in a war room and they need certain help. Imagine an expert that is just packaged as an AI expertise right next to that person. So that's I'm really excited about.
Well, that is exciting, and it's such a dynamic space right now in AI ops. What when you talk to customers and professionals, IT professionals, what are some of the top challenges, roadblocks, concerns they have, and how are companies, with your help, kind of tackling those concerns?
Yeah, absolutely. So most of the customers start their journey in this space where they have like 20, 30 observability tools or monitoring tools for each domain. Like people have tools just for routing or switching. Like if they have wireless, then tools for wireless, then tools for logs for security, logs for IT. And you start to count all these things together. There are like 20, 30 tools. And now um, the first thing what customers are starting to do is consolidate these tools together. That simplifies their monitoring stack and basically have a better coverage and common data store. That's basically is happening with the majority of the industry. That's the mass market today. But right after you start to consolidate these tools, the first thing customers start to notice is, okay, now I've got too much data and not enough insight. And that is the data overload problem. This is the kind of a second generation of evolution of observability that people see is, okay, hey, how do I make sense of this data? And the third aspect is that's where AI comes in is, can I make this data into actionable insights? And I think this is how the AI ops market is evolving, is the observability and AI ops are kind of converging into each other, because you need that data and that rich and contextual data, but then you need AI and insights on top of that data.
Oh, such an important insight there. And let's talk about data noise. I mean, how does Dexta, help those teams handle that data overload specifically and deliver those insights without getting into a demo, which I'm not going to put you on the spot for. Maybe walk us through the scenarios that you're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dextra, the way we design Dextra is basically understanding this base problem that, hey, there is a huge amount of data noise and alert noise. And when I talk about alert noise, imagine a support staff who's tackling, say, thousands of alerts a day. It's just humanly impossible. And it's basically impacting their mental health also. The people are getting stressed out and burnt out on the job, and this is where Dextra type tools are coming in. And we have this domain expertise, as I was talking about. If, as we are packaging this domain expertise and making it simpler for people to use all this domain expertise, and that's the perfect fit for Dextra. And this new generation of AI ops tools, they're designed for better time to deploy, faster to deploy, and easier to operate. So the the previous generation tools, they were very complex. So AI ops as a category exists for last 5 years. The first generation of these AI ops tools were all rigid rule-based systems. What a lot of people are kind of familiar with, event management systems. Then comes the second generation of these tools where the ML is there, but you almost need to be an ML engineer. You need to figure out how do I train it, all sort of things. And IT said, okay, hey, I'm going to spend $1 million to put a complex system, and now it's rigid that, hey, if I'm now have microservices and Kubernetes in my environment, I have to redo everything that I did last year to as part of the implementation. And that's where Dextra type tools in the latest generation of AI ops are coming in. Say one, they they have this domain expertise which is really broad. Second, the whole ML and AI aspect of the tool set is very simple to deploy and very open. And the reason this openness is really crucial is to build the trust with the IT teams, because if it's a black box approach, they don't know why the decision making is happening and they don't really trust it. And a lot of time the tools get deployed and they don't get used completely, they become shelfware because the IT teams don't really trust it. So we had this mindset as we were designing Dextra, saying, okay, really, let's make sure it's very visual, that whatever the decision making from an AI perspective is happening, we can showcase that to the customer, to the actual user, and especially this IT user who's not really an ML expert. And that's the design mindset we had. And this, along with their existing workflows in IT support teams and NOCs, because we don't want to disrupt that. We don't want to say, okay, hey,
Mm.
this is a new generation of AI ops tools. Let me retrain you from fresh. Let me redo your workflow. That doesn't work out for a lot of enterprises because they do not have time to do this cultural shift just because I'm changing my tools chain. And so we recognize that hey, the companies have like ServiceNow CMDB as a single source of truth. Companies have ServiceNow ITSM for ticketing system. On top of that ITSM, they have existing escalation chains and workflows and notification systems. All of these have to operate the way they have been operating. Just transparently, AI comes in and helps in their day-to-day job by reducing this noise and giving them actionable insight as part of this workflow.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Well, let's unpack that a little bit. You talked about ease of implementation. You wrote proud of your user interface, your kind of user experience, and making it friendly and accessible, designed for today's kind of workforce and skill set. Talk about that. Is that sort of a design principle?
Yeah, so the skill set. So we want to make sure we are not asking our end users, and these end users are level one support staff, level two, maybe
Mm,
escalation engineers. We are not saying, okay, hey, just because we're bringing a new tool, you need to get certified in a 5 day
mm,
class, sit there and understand, because those days are gone. People are People are like if I'm talking to a customer with their IT support staff, because there's a lot of churn, I cannot assume that, hey, we will train them and then 6 months later this person is fully trained and fully productive. They have to be productive like within a week or two on this new tool. That's the expectation from their management chain. So that's why the tool like Dextra is designed with that mindset. And then the mindset of, okay, hey, it's not just the tool itself, it's everything around it, which is your existing processes, existing tool chains, and has to just fit into all those existing scenarios. So this persona based approach and the existing process and toolchain based approach is where I think we are very unique in the industry.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And the other thing you talked about was workflow integration. How long does it take a typical deployment to kind of get up and running, delivering value and insights? Is it, days, weeks? What's a typical workflow integration look like?
Yeah, so fortunately for us, we are converging Dextra, the AI ops capability, with LogicMonitor, which is your observability capability, and that's right
Mm.
out of the box. Then
Mm.
comes what in the Dextra piece, a lot of ML models are out of the box, dashboards out of the box, ServiceNow integration. This is jointly validated with ServiceNow, which is hosted on their App Exchange. The moment you put in your ServiceNow API tokens, that integration happens. So all these things are built in for really fast deployment. I would say typically I've seen customers like within a month of deployment start to see really full value. And
Oh, wow.
within first within first few weeks, you should see like your alert volumes go down. We had a customer where right after they implemented Dextra, their level one support staff who was manning their ServiceNow ticketing system, they thought something is wrong. Like how come I don't see any tickets anymore? I used to get hundreds of tickets a day, and now suddenly I don't see them. What? So we got an escalation back saying, so, looks like something is bad. And when we looked at it, saying, hey, this is how it's supposed to be operating. If it's noise, you shouldn't be seeing it.
That's fantastic. What a great story. Intriguing approach to ML model transparency. Needs to be more openness out there. But also, I imagine some of your more sophisticated customers do customize those and tweak them quite a bit. Maybe talk about that moving forward. What do you see there in terms of new models and how your customers will be, deploying these models?
Yeah, yeah. So the when we talk about models, let me give certain examples. So, for example, in an event management system, an alert comes in, and alert is
Mm.
about a CPU threshold on some host, and that's just a raw alert. Now, what Dextra does it because it's integrated with Logic Monitor, and Logic Monitor is discovering every aspect of your environment automatically behind the scene. So it's not just a hey, this is a CPU threshold alert. It will know that hey, is on a Windows server. This Windows server is running domain controller, and it's
Mm.
in a Virginia data center. Uh, so these context and details basically help from a decision making perspective for the ML algorithms. So when I'm doing the correlation, I now know that okay, in this Virginia data center, this data center, this domain controller. So if downstream, if this domain controller is impacted and everything else is happening downstream, I can start to correlate things together. So that's the meaning, and not only I'm correlating them together, I'm showing all of this logic to the user. So if they want to double check things, okay, is this logic right? All of that is actually there. Now, imagine the situation where you took this domain controller and you moved on to Azure AD or something cloud based. Now, you may have to fine tune your ML model somewhat because you knew how they were working. And all of this is very visual, and you can go and go do it.
Well, it's a fantastic approach. So, so much innovation and work you're doing, it's really getting recognized out there in the marketplace. Where do you see this landscape at the moment? Where do you see yourself fitting? Your role is evolving, expanding at Logic Monitor. how do you see yourself as an organization over time?
Yeah, so one, there's just so much innovation like every day, and
Mm,
Evan, you cover this technology and the host of technologies from AI perspective. I think where I am really excited, and as an individual and as a company from a Logic Monitor perspective, is I think the notion of generative AI, like we talked about domain expertise, and the notion of generative AI that it knows about not only your environment, but hey, how do I solve VMware problem? How do I solve Cisco
mm,
Meraki problem? How do I solve NetApp problem? All of this knowledge, assuming, is now built into these domain specific systems. Now the job of the IT becomes a lot better. And where we want the IT to get into is it's no longer firefighting mode where like I'm in a war
mm.
room with 10 engineers on a daily basis, and then my production systems are down. I'm always in a firefighting. So like now, because I got so much assistance with these domain specific AI tools, I have time. I can think about, okay, my CIO has these business initiatives. How do I plan for those? I can proactively start to figure out, okay, hey, in 3 months, uh, uh, given these initiatives, given this growth in the environment, um, I should be putting my resources in a certain way. So you are more proactive to approach versus you're always firefighting. And that brings better, I would say, job satisfaction to a lot of IT professionals. Otherwise, they're feeling burnt out that, okay, hey, I'm always chasing something and don't feel satisfaction that I really provided the best IT services to my teams.
Well, wonderful vision, wonderful mission there. Very gratifying. So what's next? Any travel trips coming up personally, professionally? You guys that are a lot of events and meetups and meeting with lots of partners. What are you looking forward to over the next few months?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of webinars. We're doing road
Mm,
shows. We have some events happening with AWS Summit in Europe, so that's where we will be. We have a partner summit there, so there a lot of interesting activities we are doing.
interesting indeed. Well, thanks so much for giving us a peek behind the curtain on the mission and vision. It's really exciting for you and for the industry. And thanks everyone for watching. Reach out to Logic Monitor. Their social channels are super active and they put out a lot of educational content too, which is always helpful and insightful. Thanks, Ranjan. Take care. Have a great day.